to the continent, where the Africa Export-Import Bank today unveils the first of the 9 African trade centers that the Trade Finance Agency is planning to set up across the continent. Now, speaking at the unveiling of the Abuja Trade Center, top officials of Afreximbank and the Nigerian government highlighted some of the benefits of the new center in driving trade facilitation, not just in Nigeria, but across the English-speaking West African region.
2 weeks ago, Afreximbank held a groundbreaking ceremony to mark the commencement of construction of an Afreximbank Africa Trade Center in Barbados, a historic first in the Caribbean region that we hope will serve as a launchpad for stronger trade and investment ties between Africa and the Caribbean. That will be also the first Africa Trade Center ever outside Africa. We also hope that the hand of partnership extended to us by the government of Switzerland will mean that we will also soon have an Africa Trade Center rise in Europe. With that very important step we took in Barbados, we look forward to very soon hoisting the flags of Africa and the bank across the Atlantic, affirming a reunion with a valued but for long neglected heritage. 2 weeks ago in Barbados, we planted a seed that would sprout into a platform for an overdue embrace with our own. At a time, we as a people need it the most. We all are aware of what is going on in the world. The days of divide and rule must be put behind us. Today, we celebrate the coming to life of a similar seed we planted here some 41 months ago. One of our decisive moves towards righting the wrongs of colonialism. Today we mark the standing up of an edifice that defiantly roars that we must reshape our future, that we must take back our destiny, that we can no longer be hostages to a colonial legacy deeply rooted on divide and conquer, a legacy that makes Africans to regard their colonizers as masters and brothers and sisters as enemies and even aliens. Your Excellencies, honorable ministers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, step by step, we will, on the success of this platform, build a network of Afreximbank Africa Trade Centers that would offer strong physical institutional infrastructure for deepening connections and the exchange of information among Africans and the Caribbean, and indeed the wider Africa diaspora.
My profound appreciation goes to Afreximbank under the leadership of President Benedict Orama for his bold vision, dedicated leadership, and commitment to deepening intra-African trade. And yes, it's a partnership, as you mentioned, and the government's role and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's role and commitment and his policy and his strategy is to enable private investment. So you will get, and I'm speaking for the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, you will get an even bigger footprint to build an even bigger edifice in Nigeria. The establishment of this African Trade Center is in line with President Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, and it reaffirms Nigeria's commitment to deepening intra-African trade, regional integration, and economic diversity through strategic partnerships and enabling infrastructure. The AATC in Abuja represents not just physical infrastructure, but also a symbol of partnership, integration, and prosperity for the African continent. When it comes to what this facility is all about, and even what the whole, all the different African trade center hubs are all about, we have heard it. So let me just delve a little bit into the fact that we are facing, in this world of reciprocal trade tariffs, heightened trade uncertainties and heightened global economic risk. And it is a critical time as Nigeria and other countries have stabilized their macroeconomic environment, got growth increasing, balance of payments positive, current account balance positive, inflation stabilizing, exchange rate moderating. It is all in an attempt to encourage the private sector to come in and invest and be the engine of growth. And as we have seen and we have heard, Nigeria has started to become more industrialized.
The launch of this trade center is more than just a new building. It represents a clear step towards Africa taking greater control of its trade, both within the continent and globally. The Abuja AATC is a strategic nexus of finance, research, innovation, trade intelligence, policy, the exhibition center, MSMEs, and the trade innovation hubs, and digital gateway. This center is an ecosystem for transformation. It is the future of African trade, now made real. The Afreximbank's footprint in Nigeria is extensive. Over the last 3 decades, the bank has grown to become a consequential institution for the continent. In the last decade, it distributed no less than $140 billion into the continent. Nigeria is the largest recipient of the bank's trade and development finance, having attracted cumulative disbursements of about $52 billion, which has catalyzed infrastructure, manufacturing, and export competitiveness across key sectors. Let me highlight a few of these game-changing projects. The African Medical Center of Excellence in Abuja, redefining healthcare standards across the region. The strategic support for the Dangote refinery, advancing Africa's energy security. The rollout of the African Quality Assurance Centers in Ogun, Kaduna, and Imo states, empowering Nigeria's exporters to meet global standards. The special economic zones in Kaduna, Imo, and Cross River, designed to drive industrialization and regional development, and Ogun and African with agro-processing. The bank is also extending strong support to Africa's vibrant creative industry, one of the largest employers of youth and women across the continent. Through the target lines of credit, capacity building initiatives, and market access programs, the bank is empowering Nigeria's creative sector to scale and export its rich content to markets across Africa and beyond.